Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about a woman who spent 4 months playing the weakest person in the room, just so she could catch a traitor. This isn't some spy movie plot. This is a story that played out in a real military training center, and it started with a single, brutal, unexpected hit. Act 1. The humiliation and the hook. Picture this. It's the close quarters combat simulation room at Fort Trident, a joint operations base. The air conditioning is humming, the floor is that dull gray tactical mat, and everyone is watching. And you know how it is in these environments. There's always one guy. That guy was Major Axel Thorne, Navy SEAL instructor, built like a brick wall, all confidence and swagger. He had that particular kind of contempt for anyone he decided wasn't operator material. And today, his target was Captain Maya Reyes. Maya stood on the edge of the mat. She was classified as a linguistic specialist, a translator. Hands clasped behind her back, perfect parade ground posture. Thorne was lecturing the room, Danish observers, British SAS, German liaisons, about warfighters versus weekend warriors. He was playing to his audience, trying to make himself look good. He walked up to Maya, dragging out her rank like it was a punchline he hadn't quite delivered yet. Captain Reyes, your job is translation, correct? Word services? Maya just gave a single nod. Her face didn't shift. Not intimidated, not bored, just present. Then you'll understand, Thorne smirked, spreading his massive arms to address the room. This mat is for operators, people who've earned the right to bleed here. We don't do participation trophies. Then Maya did the unthinkable. She broke the script. She took one step forward. Major, I'm requesting participation in today's drill sequence. The room went silent. You could feel the collective cringe. She just made a huge tactical error, and Thorne's eyebrows went up like they'd hit the ceiling. You're requesting, he repeated slowly, tasting the word, to participate in a close quarters combat demonstration. Yes, sir. Correct. Thorne smiled. It was the kind of smile that didn't involve his eyes. Tell you what, Captain, since you're so eager, let me show you a basic disarm technique. You can observe. Learn what real operators do when things get messy. He motioned her forward with that casual arrogance, the kind that expects immediate obedience. Maya moved to the designated spot. Her breathing remained perfectly even. 4 count in, 4 count hold, 4 count out, 4 count hold. It was a rhythm her body remembered even while her mind was cataloging sightlines, exit routes, and the exact distance to the nearest wall. Thorne turned to his audience, making sure everyone was watching. The key to any disarm is speed and commitment. Hesitation gets you killed. Translators hesitate. Operators commit. He moved without warning. It wasn't a technique. It wasn't a drill. It was violence dressed up as instruction. His right elbow drove into her face with the full 220 pounds behind it. The impact was immediate and absolute. Her head snapped back, the crack of bone on bone echoing through the room like a starting pistol. Blood filled her mouth instantly, that familiar copper taste. She dropped to one knee. Thorne looked back at the room and dusted his hands together. See, that's what commitment looks like. She's still conscious because I pulled that strike. In the field, that's a knockout. Translators don't have the conditioning for this level of... Major Thorne. Colonel Elias Vance's voice cut through the air, sharp as glass. He stood in the control booth doorway, tablet in hand, expression carved from granite. Maya was rising now, slow, controlled, blood dripping from her split lip onto the tactical mat. Her left eye was already swelling. Captain Reyes, Vance said quietly. Do you require medical attention? Negative, sir. You're bleeding.
Act 3. The Bullet and the Collapse. The morning arrived, cold and dark. All 15 personnel were gathered. Thorne still at the rangemaster position, wearing his instructor armor. Colonel Vance was standing near the control booth, watching everything. Marcus Flint was near the observation tower, binoculars ready. Captain Reyes, Thorn announced, smiling. "You're first up." Maya stepped to the firing line. She made a show of checking the rifle, fiddling with the loose, sabotaged optic. She looked at Thorn. "Sir, the optic mount appears damaged. It won't hold 0 under recoil." Thorn dismissed it instantly. "It passed inspection, Captain. Are you uncomfortable with standard NATO equipment? That's something we should note in your qualification record." He crossed his arms. "You have 60 seconds. On my mark, execute." The optic bounced in the sight picture, useless at 200 meters. The whole base was watching her fail. Maya settled into her position, cheek to stock, 4-count breathing. She ignored the optic entirely. She transitioned to the iron sights. The backup system only practiced operators know how to use effectively under stress. She fired 10 rounds in 47 seconds. Smooth, controlled. Flat cracks in the cold morning air. "Cease fire. Targets forward." Thorn walked down range to inspect the results, his confident expression already starting to crack. He stopped dead. 10 rounds, 10 hits. 9 in the center ring. Total score, 98 out of 100. He turned back to Maya, his voice thin. "The optic was malfunctioning. I saw it shifting." "How?" "Sir, I used iron sights instead. Standard backup aiming system. Any operator familiar with their weapons should be able to transition without significant degradation of accuracy." The silence was absolute. Thorn took the rifle from her, examined the filed mounting rail, and finally understood. She had just documented his equipment sabotage in front of 15 witnesses, while simultaneously demonstrating the capability of an expert marksman. "Where did you learn to shoot like that?" he demanded. Maya met his gaze. "Some aspects of my service record are classified, sir, above your clearance level. I'm not authorized to discuss them in an open setting." Thorn was staring at her like a ghost. He finally connected the dots. The 4 months of passive resistance, the conditioning, the breathing, the way she shot like a pro. "Captain Reyes, who exactly are you?" "I'm a translator, sir. Linguistic specialist. That's what my orders say." Thorn played his last hand. He rushed back to his office and filed a formal public security complaint, alleging that Maya had falsified her credentials and was operating under fraudulent orders. He demanded her suspension and confinement. He made it loud and public and impossible to ignore. It was exactly what she wanted. Monroe summoned them both to the conference room. A third person was there. Miss Evelyn Shaw from NATO Security Investigations. Thorn started his complaint, but Shaw cut him off, opening a briefcase. "Major Thorn, I've reviewed Captain Reyes' service record. The complete record." She turned her tablet to him. "Do you know what Phoenix Guard was?" Thorn's color drained. He knew the rumors. Black Ops. Somalia. Shaw delivered the punchline, her voice steady. "Captain Maya Reyes was Phoenix Guard's commanding officer. She survived Operation Sandstone barely, and when she returned to duty, she was reassigned as a translator." Maya looked at Thorn. His face had gone gray. She could see the panic, the realization that every insult, every act of sabotage had been documented and preserved. "I'm here because someone altered tactical coordinates during that mission. Someone who panicked and changed the grid references to protect himself, which sent my 11 teammates into an ambush instead of extraction." Thorn was shaking his head, sweat beading on his forehead. "I was cleared. The investigation was buried." "But I survived," Maya finished, sliding her tablet toward the investigator. "And for 4 months, I've watched you. Watched your pattern. You tried to bury me the same way you buried my team, but this time there are cameras, biometrics, and digital trails. You're not just a bully, Major. You're a traitor who got 11 operators killed and then built a career on their graves." Thorn lunged. Not with tactical thinking, just raw panic and rage, reaching for her throat.
Maya moved without thinking. Her left hand intercepted his wrist, redirecting his momentum. Her right hand came up under his elbow, applying pressure to the joint. She rotated and stepped offline, and Thorne's own forward motion slammed him face down onto the conference table. The entire sequence took less than 2 seconds. 0 injury, textbook defensive control. "Major Thorne," Maya said calmly, holding him in the lock. "Stop resisting. I created conditions where you revealed your true character. There's a difference. You set me up. I ensured you set yourself up for justice." Act 4. Patient Justice. Security arrived. Thorne was cuffed and escorted out, still gasping that it was a misunderstanding. Monroe sat down, heavily. 4 months. You played translator for 4 months just to catch him. Accusations can be dismissed, Colonel. Documented patterns can't. Shaw closed her briefcase. Thorne was looking at life in a military prison. Then Monroe stood up and extended his hand. "Captain, the Phoenix Guard is being reconstituted. Task Force Cerberus. They want you to command it. 3 bases, 3 more individuals showing the same pattern Thorne showed. Security threats operating under official cover." Maya considered the 11 names burned into her memory. The 11 promises she had yet to fully keep. "I'm interested, sir." Monroe grinned. "Report to Brussels Monday morning. And Captain, next time you run a 4-month undercover operation on my base, maybe give me more than 48 hours notice before the climax." Maya almost smiled. "I'll take that under advisement, sir."